All right, today we are jumping headfirst into a topic that is pretty much everyone picking a side, cryptocurrency. So, what's the deal? Is this the actual future of money, a complete technological revolution, or is it all just one giant speculative bubble that's going to pop? Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down what crypto even is. Then, we'll lift the hood and see how the tech actually works. After that, we'll explore the wild world beyond Bitcoin, get into the huge debate that's raging, and finally, see how governments around the globe are trying to deal with it all.
So to really get a handle on cryptocurrency, you have to know that it didn't just pop up as a cool piece of tech. No, it actually started with a really powerful, almost philosophical idea.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. The whole point, in the beginning, wasn't just, hey, let's make digital cash. It was way bigger. It was about creating a financial system that was totally, completely free from the control of any government or any big bank.
And that, right there, is the absolute key to what makes it so different. You know the money in your bank account? That's controlled by a central authority. Cryptocurrency, on the other hand, is decentralized. It's a peer-to-peer system. There is no one in charge.
Now, Bitcoin didn't just magically appear out of nowhere. Not at all. It was more like the final piece of a really complex puzzle that a bunch of brilliant cryptographers had been working on for decades. You had ideas like eCash and B-money laying all the groundwork years before the mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto finally put it all together.
But wait a minute, how can a system with no boss, no central company actually function? I mean, how does everyone on the network agree on who owns what if there's no referee? Well, the answer is an incredibly clever invention called the blockchain.
You can think of these 6 conditions as the official rulebook. For any digital money system to really, truly be called a cryptocurrency, it has to check every single one of these boxes, from proving who owns what using crazy complex math, all the way to working without any central point of failure.
So what is it? At its heart, a blockchain is really just a shared digital record book. That's it. Every single transaction is a block that gets added to a growing chain. And here's the magic part. It's public for everyone to see, it's verified by the entire network, and, this is crucial, once something is recorded, it can never, ever be changed.
But how does the network decide what gets added to that record book? For a long time, Bitcoin's method, called proof of work, was king. Think of it like a really intense race where computer miners solve super hard puzzles. It's incredibly secure, but it uses a truly shocking amount of electricity. That's a huge reason why so many newer cryptos, including the giant Ethereum network, have switched to proof of stake, a much more energy-efficient way to get the same job done.
You know, even though Bitcoin kicked this whole thing off, it is far from the only animal in the zoo. Since it was created, literally thousands of other cryptocurrencies, called altcoins, have shown up, creating this absolutely wild and diverse ecosystem.
And it's a really common mistake to hear crypto and just think Bitcoin. But in reality, the word altcoin just means everything else. And that's a sprawling digital landscape of thousands of different projects, each with its own goals. Now, among all those thousands, a few key players really changed the game. You add Litecoin, which was basically designed to be a faster, lighter version of Bitcoin. But Ethereum was the real game changer. It introduced something called smart contracts, which is basically just code that can run on the blockchain. And that opened the floodgates to a whole universe of applications that go way beyond just digital money.
And this altcoin universe, man, it stretches to some wild extremes. On one end, you've got meme coins, things that literally started as internet jokes and are now known for their absolutely insane roller coaster price swings. And then on the complete opposite side, you have stablecoins, which are built to do the exact opposite. Get rid of volatility by tying their value to something stable in the real world, like the US dollar.
So all of this innovation, all these different coins, it brings us right to the heart of the issue. Why is cryptocurrency one of the most polarizing technologies on the entire planet? Let's break down the two sides, the incredible promise versus the serious peril.
First up, the promise. At its peak, the entire crypto market was worth trillions of dollars. Now, that's not just a random number. That represents an unbelievable amount of financial energy and a deep conviction from millions of people that this technology has the power to change the world.
But then,
Then you have the perils, an asset that can lose almost half of its value in a single week. For critics, this kind of breathtaking volatility is all the proof they need that crypto is just way too risky to be the foundation for any kind of stable financial future.
Supporters, they paint this picture of a revolutionary new financial system. Just imagine a world with total financial transparency, where anybody can get access to financial tools without needing a bank, where fees get slashed because you cut out the middleman, and where you, and only you, have 100% control over your own money. I mean, that's the utopian vision for crypto.
But critics will tell you there is a much, much darker reality. They see a completely unregulated Wild West that makes crime easier, a place where scams and catastrophic collapses like FTX can make billions of dollars vanish overnight. And all of it is powered by a technology that, in some cases, has a massive environmental footprint. So, with this incredibly fierce debate raging between a utopian promise and a dystopian peril, it is absolutely no surprise that governments all over the world are scrambling to figure out what to do. On one extreme, you have total adoption. In a really historic move, El Salvador went all in. They became the very first nation on Earth to make Bitcoin an official legal currency, betting that it could completely reshape their economy.
And then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have China. Beijing saw crypto as a fundamental threat to its financial control, and so they brought the hammer down, effectively outlawing all cryptocurrency transactions back in 2021.
But you know what? Most countries are actually stuck somewhere in the middle, wrestling with this deep internal conflict. India is a perfect example. You have the government taxing crypto profits at a really high rate, while at the same time its own central bank is pushing for a total ban. It's a textbook case of global uncertainty.
And meanwhile, the world's biggest economic powers, like the United States, are moving slowly, but surely, towards creating a complete regulatory rulebook. You see agencies like the SEC ramping up enforcement, and that sends a very clear signal that they plan to bring this chaotic market into line.
And so that brings us right back to where we started, facing this one huge central question. Is this the blueprint for a more open and fair financial future, or is it a massive cautionary tale about speculation run wild? Right now, the only thing we know for sure is that the answer is still being written one block at a time.